back. So, we're in these dangerous places. You know, we just talked about these man pads, 20,000 of them, spreading like a wave. And you know, we're supplying the Free Syrian Army with guns and food and medical supplies and all the rest of that stuff. And our friends, and I use the term lightly, the Saudis, have been giving the moderates weapons over there, and the Russians are filling them up, and the Chinese are filling them up. You know, it's only a matter of time before this comes back and haunts us, and in a way that we're never going to be able to get around, folks. And in the meantime, you know, we're kept bantering and bickering amongst ourselves by our own government with talk about the threat of immigration. I mean, come on, folks. We're in such dire straits. We can't feed and put to work the people we've got. Why would we possibly want to let 30 million more in here and give them amnesty? And don't tell me the number's not 30 million. You're full of crap. I don't care what the number is that are here. With the plans that they have for chain migration, it will be 30 million, if not 50 million. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll give it to you at 30. Now you got John McCain huddling with President Obama on immigration. Excuse me, as I recall, John McCain ran against Obama a short time ago, but now he seems to act like his chief of staff. What the heck is up with that? They ought to have a team slogan, working to enslave the USA by treason, every day and every way. Ha ha! We find out that the CIA has been paying AT&T $10 million a year for access to all of their call data. I didn't know 30 pieces of silver was worth $10 million, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong story. That was Judas Iscariot. Shucks. We're told to worry about all of these things, jobs and taxes and unemployment. Well, meanwhile, we're being played. We're being played by a couple of gangsters, and they do the same thing. They walk in, and this is the same, the same analogy I gave you before, but it's just taken on to a different point. But the gangster says, "Hey, listen, I'm the nice gang here, but if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to send Joey Busted Knee over there, Bobby Busted Knees." Bobby Busted Knees. He's the guy who's the enforcer. Who is that today? Well, let's see. It's the NSA. It is the CIA. It is the IRS. It is the Department of Health and Human Services. It is the EPA. Don't you smell it? Don't you see it for what it is? I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's the FAA who just approved the invasion of drones into the United States. They're predicting 7,000, but they're in the process of approving 30,000 applications for drones. Guess what? The vast majority of that's going to go to law enforcement. But gee whiz, I didn't think we had that many dagnab criminals. Well, you people drive around without seatbelts. You're endangering the whole planet. My gracious. I didn't realize. But you go after some real criminals. You know, the guys who are sitting there stealing people's identity and making millions on it. Oh, I'm sorry. A lot of that is sponsored by corporate America. That's right. Forgot. You see, we are nothing more than a ball to be batted back and forth. That's all we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are a ball that is batted back and forth. We have zero control over anything. In the rare occasion when the ball is aware that it's being used as a toy, we get this sycophantic nonsense like the president. Well, I'm sorry that people are going to lose their health insurance. That wasn't our intent. I'm sorry that people are going to lose their health care and find themselves in this situation based on assurances they got from me. Well, allegedly, Mr. President, you're the most powerful man on the planet. What did you think those people would do with the assurances that you gave? That's like the pastor in your church, or the rabbi in your synagogue, or the priest, or the imam, who says to you, listen, murder's okay. You go out there and you commit a murder, and then they say, well, I'm sorry that, you got the feeling that I approved and that, it was okay for you to do, but the law says it's not. So, see you in about 30. The heck? I mean, really? What did you think, Mr. President, the world was going to do, the United States? Let me reclassify that, because the rest of the world is laughing at us. And you, by the way. Because you look like the ultimate buffoon. We look like the ultimate suckers. And the world is laughing. What did you think that we were going to do with those assurances? You're a Chicago gangland thug. Nothing more. You gave us a promise that you knew was a lie. That's no different than Joey Bag of Donuts. Hey, listen, I know you're short this week. Give me half of what you owe. And, Bobby Busted Knee is not going to take you out. And the guy says, okay. And he turns over half the money, and then Thug looks over at Bobby and he says, all right, Bobby, don't kill him, just hurt him a little bit. But you said I wouldn't get hurt if I gave you half. Hey, I'm sorry that you find yourself in this situation on assurances you got from me. Holy smoke. I mean, I'm sorry. You took my assurance and you believed me. That's, on you, buddy. Where our nation has fallen into is that we are Jekylls. Heckle and Jekylls. We are, all we do is go back and forth and we argue and bicker about nonsense. It's all sycophantic nonsense. It's all designed to ensure that none of us are going to rise up against the tyrant. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I can give you ample examples. Professional sports. How else do you keep, 60 million men who are laden with testosterone, calm and cool and collected all the time? You give them something else to focus their energy and attention and rage and attention span upon. Memorizing the football scores. Hey, let's go over there and build a fantasy football team because we can't get enough on TV on Sundays. I remember the winning hit in every World Series game since Babe Ruth. You do? You've got to be kidding me. Why? And who cares? You can't name a founding father. You couldn't quote one if somebody put a bullet at your head and threatened you and your family. You couldn't quote one. But you know the winning hitter for every ball game since Babe Ruth. Wow, that's really valuable knowledge, isn't it? Whenever governments mean to invade the rights and liberties of the people, they always attempt to destroy the militia in order to raise an army upon their ruins. That was Elbridge Gerry. So let's think about that for a moment. Let's just analyze that statement real quick, because it's actually very appropriate to this. Whenever governments mean to invade the rights and liberties of the people, they always attempt to destroy the militia in order to raise an army upon their ruins. So let's ask ourselves the question: who is the militia? Oh, well, that's all men between the ages of 16 and 60. We can stretch it a few degrees and mostly on the latter end in a pinch. So, how do we invade the rights and liberties of the people? We destroy the militia. Who is the militia? Men, 16 to 60. How do we destroy them? Well, first of all, we make them worry about a bunch of junk that doesn't really matter. And secondarily, we take all of their attention and focus, and we point it towards something that enables them to basically just shoot blanks forever. Professional sports. NASCAR. Listen, I have no problem with any of these things in and of themselves. But I want you to recognize what they are. For those who aren't involved in the sports game, there's plenty of other distractions that are destroying our militia. Reality television shows. I mean, really. The hunting sports. What do you mean? You're going way too far there, Evans. No, the hunting sports. Because you're convinced by the National Wildlife Turkey Federation and the NRA that it's really all, the Second Amendment's really all about your hunting rights. Your Second Amendment is about your hunting rights for two-legged game, you dope. It's not about turkey, deer, or bear, or any other dopey four-legged creature. But America wants to just sit there in buffoonery and be made idiots out of. For some of you, it's not television and it's not professional sports. For some of you, it's cars. I spent all my time tinkering around. Man, I got the engines that run like raped apes. Well, that's where your interest lies. That's where your treasure lies. Meanwhile, you're worthless as teats on a boar hog toss. You can't tell us what the Federal Reserve is. In fact, you've probably really not heard the name before. You might have heard it once or twice in passing, and you kind of thought it was, that's some division of the Treasury that does something with the money. I don't know. That's the problem with America. Then you got a whole crew out there who, instead of standing up for their nation, are saying, I got to get to work because, man, I got to make $67,000 this month. I got to pump some of these bonds out there to a bunch of these idiots who have absolutely no idea that they just bought a bunch of toilet paper in green. And I know the end is coming, and man, I'm taking care of my family. I'm going to get that $67,000, and I'm going to make sure we buy a bunch of food for us. Let me tell you something. Your LL Bean shirt with the creases still in it that you're wearing on the first day of the financial collapse as you prepare your family to get out of Dodge. Yeah. That's the one that's going to maybe contain the blood ushering out of your body. You know what, America? You're either going to have to come to grips with the realities of what's going on around you, or you're going to have to pay a very, very painful and stupendously high price for your folly. Our militia is being destroyed. By the way, those who aren't involved in cars and sports and money and golf and the hunting sports, there's plenty of room out there for your particular little distraction. You've been emasculated. You're told, don't get angry. Resolve things with talking. Be emotional. Let your emotions rule your day. Don't go out there and be an aggressive. Non-aggression. That's the right thing to be. And it's okay to get your nails done. It's okay for you to get a wax. Waxing is good. I watched a commercial the other day about some stupid thing that for women to remove facial hair, the no yes, no, or whatever the heck it's called. And this guy is sitting there, and he's a husky young man, maybe in his mid or late 20s. It's like getting a wax, but it doesn't hurt, he says. I don't get it. Why are men turned into these effeminate, husky women? You're spending more money on hair care products than you are on preparing to take care and defend your family. We've effeminized America. There are no men anymore. The truth of the matter is, if this nation had men like our founders had men, we'd have marched on the capitals of all of the state and federal government a long, long time ago. We would have dragged everybody out. They'd all be sitting in prisons today. And a lot of them probably would have been hung for treason. Legally. I'm not advocating everybody go get a rope. Don't even go there with me. I know they're capturing these podcasts so that they can say, see, he's an evil element out there trying to raise the extremists to go out and cause violence. He's inciting it. No, I'm not. I'm just speaking the truth. Our founders, President Obama says, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And Jefferson says, if I had a son, he'd have shot you all already. I'm not advocating violence. Don't even go there with me. And if this tries to get played at a trial, here's the proof. I call for massive, peaceful civil disobedience every single day. Key operative word, peaceful. But I call for ultimate disobedience, and I call for a peaceful revolt to remove you from power. To put this nation back into the hands of Americans who have America as their first, primary, and only motivation. Not Nancy Pelosi flying around with $1 million worth of liquor and booze per month on her private jet. Not Harry Reid, who wants to make sure that he gives $100 million to the casinos in Las Vegas in the immigration bill. Pardon me. Why does $100 million going to casinos in Vegas have anything to do with immigration? I'm confused. Not John Boehner, who's willing to capitulate to whatever way the wind blows. Not John McCain, who's the chief of staff for the last tyrant in a long line of tyrants and traitors who have run the country, who, confusingly enough, ran against him only 2 elections ago, but I digress. America, you can remain asleep on your feet, or you can recognize the condition of alert that surrounds us. You're like a fat, dumb, happy American. And I don't mean that in a disconcerting way, but that's the way that the world looks at us. We're fat and soft and dumb and stupid and happy. And you go to the third world country and you think, you can stroll down the streets of some foreign, dangerous place like you're walking down Main Street. That's exactly where we are. What you don't realize is that Washington and your state capitals are all those dangerous places. They are all seeking your destruction. And all of the people, as you walk down there in your stupid little safari hat, are trying to figure out, how can I eat this idiot? Isn't it wonderful, Betty? Look at just all the local... It's just amazing to me. Look at how friendly these people look. No, that's not a look of friendliness. That's a look of hunger. And that fluid dripping off their fangs, that's saliva as they are slavering, trying to figure out, how good would he taste? But the local ambiance here is just so magnificent. I don't know. Let's go get a glass of wine. And the local people haven't eaten in a week. Had a friend of mine one time, worked for an oil company, was in Nigeria, was assigned a guy to be his guy Friday, his driver, etc., personal valet. Didn't really know the guy. Had been in the country a week. The people at the office said, well, come on, we're going to go have a drink, afterwards. And he said, not knowing the rules and how that game worked, he says to his guy, well, come on in and we'll have a beer. The guy says, I can't go in. Why not? I can't go. Well, come on, we're just going to have a beer. I can't go. Why can't you go? What's the big deal? He says, because I can't go in and have a drink with you and then go home to my family because my children haven't eaten in a week. Your Honor, I rest my case. Whenever governments mean to invade the rights and liberties of the people, they always attempt to destroy the militia in order to raise an army upon their ruins. You know why I like using quotes from our founders during these shows? Because they tell us everything that we need to know. The truth speaks for itself. The truth of what they say comes on like a light bulb in a dark room. And it should be illuminating to you. And suddenly the light bulb comes on and you find you've been in the dark. You can't see anything. You can hear some noise. And suddenly, the founder's light bulb illuminates the room. And you should see the danger. That the room is full of wild animals who are hungry and pacing about. And wild and dangerous men who seek your demise. That's the real world, not some storybook land we've been living in. That's the real world. You know, John Adams said, "But a constitution of government, once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever." I want you to write that down and carry it with you and look at it from time to time. Put it on the visor of your car or stick it on the top of your computer screen or stick it as a bookmark in your Bible. And then after church, walk up and show it to your pastor and give him a copy. And jot it down so that when you go out with the guys from work, you can slip one in one of their shirt pockets. But a constitution of government, once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever. America, the choice is yours. Awaken or die. You've been listening to America's Voice Now. It's a heck of a leave on a Friday, isn't it? Hey, you know what? My job isn't to sit here and mollycoddle you. My job is to tell you, awaken or die in your bed. Find us on the web at americasvoicenow.org, facebook.com/americasvoicenow, and youtube.com/americasvoicenow. Thanks for riding with us today. I appreciate you. I'm grateful that so many of you are loyal and understanding and dedicated to freedom and liberty. Thank you.